Sweet and sour isn't cooking with gas.
We're cooking with electric today.
The very best-selling electric car in the world is the Nissan Leaf. Who's going to drive first?
Yes, again.
Okay, punch it, punch it. Is that all the way down?
That's all the way to the floor.
That's pretty good.
It's
so smooth.
Silent.
Yeah. So we're in the Leaf Plus. Now, we mentioned the Leaf is the best-selling electric car of all time, right?
Yes, a lot of people probably think it's Tesla, but it's actually Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, because the Leaf was the very first mass-produced electric car worldwide. And the Chevy Volt and the Leaf came right at the same time. Now, which one won that battle?
Well,
the Leaf.
The Leaf.
And the Bolt is now going away. So what do you think of this, like the actual Leaf itself, before we get into the Plus part?
Well, when they came out with the second generation Leaf, I think it was a huge improvement. I like the styling of it. It looks more like a conventional car, and they gave it more range, 240 kilometers.
Yeah, the first time the Leaf came out, it had 160 kilometers of range, which is really limiting. But you know what? Here's the thing is every single time there's going to be a new electric car, there's going to be more range, which is one of the issues you have with electric cars, to jump in, to spend your money to buy one, knowing that in 2 or 3 years it could be not obsolete, but there's going to be a newer version, right?
This new one, the Plus, has 363 kilometers of range now. And I've even witnessed, when I've started up in the morning, it says 380 some odd kilometers.
It's probably because you haven't put the heat or the air conditioning on.
I had the AC on.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, if you can really modulate how you're using the energy in the car in terms of heat and air conditioning, you can get a lot more range out of it. The other one is using regen brake. That's the number one thing with electric cars, how efficient you are at getting the energy back into the battery, right?
Yeah, and this one, this has a very smart regen brake, and it's called the e-pedal.
You know what? I know what it does. When you lift off, it's giving you as much regen as possible. I prefer the paddle shifter style. You know, the ones where you can add and delete a little more, a little less brake as you go along?
Kind of like the Hyundai Ioniq.
Yeah.
You know what, I'm agreeing with that, but I'm getting used to this e-pedal. They've done a really good job dialing this in, seriously. It's so easy to drive it with one pedal driving.
Yeah,
really.
but you know what? That's easy for the driver. But when you're driving and you're lifting off, the passenger is always doing this.
Are you though? I'm in E mode right now.
But you're not using it though.
I am. Because when I'm lifting off, see, it's very, very gentle.
That's because you drive like an old man chow.
It makes you a smoother driver.
Old man chow.
You know, easy on, easy off.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah. It's like, no. Now
that's
okay.
Yeah.
No one's going to drive like that. But yeah, it is pretty aggressive when you lift off quickly.
Okay, now 363 kilometers of range. Let's go through some of the competitors. The Bolt has a little bit more, about 20 kilometers more. The Kona Electric is just a little bit more. It's over 400. But you know what? They're more expensive, right?
Especially the Kona Electric is quite a bit more expensive than this, because this starts at was it
$44,000.
$44,000, and this one we're driving is about 49, which is the SV Plus. It's the top of the line.
I don't know. What do you get for all the extras though? Like you get
leather interior. You get the Pro Pilot Assist, I believe.
With an electric car, don't you just look at it like an appliance? Do you need to have all that stuff, or is it a car? I don't know. Is it an appliance or a car?
You know, if you're using this more than just a commuter car, why not have all those nice luxuries and those nice little aids?
Here's the thing: is they still sell the second gen Leaf, right? With the 260 kilometer range, and this one has 100 more. Why would you buy the regular one then?
Yeah, you know, maybe you just don't need the range. You want to save some money. Now, the regular one has more options, I believe, than the base Plus.
More features, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, this
more standard features.
Yeah. Okay, now what about charging? I have a cheat sheet here. DC fast charging, 100 kilowatt charging, 45 minutes for 80%.
And that's from empty too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty quick. Now the other regular Leaf does have fast charging as well, but it can't do it with the 100 kilowatt.
Okay, I think it's time to get the dad bod cam going.
All right.
All right, dad bod cam is up and running. What do you think?
It's actually not bad.
You know what? It's got a real theater seating, right? So the back seats sit quite a bit higher than the front seats.
A little bit higher.
But look at my head. Like I'm sitting way up. and like I've got the torso of a giant, so I'm almost touching, but nobody sits like that. They sort of slouch down.
You have to realize this is not a mid-sized vehicle, it's a compact car.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, when you're comparing it to an equivalent Nissan hatchback, like a Versa Note, it's like 20 grand.
You know, the one disappointing thing though is this is an EV and it's a front-wheel drive. Well, even if it was a rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, there's no drive shaft. Yeah, but there's still a hump because of the shape of the battery that they've made, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a compromise, but
it would be nice if it was flat.
It's funny, some gas cars have flat floors.
Yeah.
But an electric car. Go figure.
All right, yeah, it's all right.
All right, my turn to drive.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people aren't aware that Nissan is one of the leaders in the industry for autonomous driving. We've been to many events where they've had fully autonomous. Actually, we drove a fully autonomous Leaf years ago, right?
Well, we didn't really drive it, but
we sat in it.
We were passengers, and they tried to trick it, and it actually avoided everything, and it was actually very, very cool.
And the thing is, that jump to fully autonomous isn't going to happen for a long time. People say it is, but we're really a long way away from that. What you're going to get are bigger and bigger suite of aids. What's this one have?
Pro Pilot Assist, so it has the radar cruise control, has the lane keeping, all that. And I've tried it quite a few times, and it is rock solid. It does not actually basically drive by itself without holding the wheel for a long period of time, like the Mercedes does or a Tesla. I guarantee
or Cadillac.
Yeah, I know that it's capable of it. You know, there's a whole bunch of legalities.
Yeah, well, they're doing that for a reason. I mean, one of the big issues with Tesla is that it's hands-free, and that's a big knock against it, is it shouldn't be. It should be, you know, you have your hands on the wheel. And you know, big company like Nissan wants you to keep your hands on the wheel, even though they could do it without it.
It's a stepping stone to a fully autonomous drive, though.
I think we're going to see, you know, the capabilities of these systems expand more and more, and you switch them on and off when you choose. You live in the suburbs, you're in bumper-to-bumper traffic all the time. You love this stuff, right?
I love this stuff. I can't wait for autonomous driving, and I know you're against it.
Well, I live in the middle of the city. I'm driving most times anywhere it's about 15 minutes, and so for me it's not a big deal.
You know, you tell me the day that it comes where I can just pull up to a store, just get out of the car, and it'll just park itself, and it'll come get me. You know, I'm all for that. And everyone's like, oh, you know, like, it takes all the fun out of driving. Who drives for fun? Do you have time to drive for fun?
But that's right? How you get the dad bod, by not walking to get your car. All right, so would you buy this one? You're in the market for an electric car, say. You're going to choose an electric car under $50,000, you know, between $30,000 and $50,000. Which one are you going to pick? You've driven the Kona electric, you've driven this, you've driven the e-Golf, you've driven all of them. What do you think?
I would say this is probably the one to get for me. I like the styling. Styling's a big thing to me. You know, you don't want to drive an ugly car.
Yep.
I'm not saying the Bolt is ugly. I would prefer, actually, I like the e-Golf. Yeah. But it doesn't have the range.
Doesn't have the range.
Right?
And I'm the same way. I think the practicality of the Golf is the one, because it's just like all the other Golfs, except it's electric, but the range isn't there yet. The Kona EV is pretty remarkable, over 400 kilometers of range, but it is more expensive than this. This really is kind of hitting the sweet spot. So it's going to be interesting to see how well it sells. Now that this is out in the marketplace, I think it's going to sell really well. Okay, the sweet and the sour. I'm going to start with the sour.
Okay.
And for me, it's just that a lot of electric cars, they're kind of a little bit plastic fantastic on the inside. And this is the top level one, and it's pretty good. But for almost this one's almost $50,000.
Yep.
It doesn't look like a $50,000 car.
It's a huge improvement over the last generation.
And the first generation was really not that good. The other sour for me, it's not a big car. Like, the trunk is small.
The cargo area is bigger than that of the Kona, though. Yeah. And I believe in the Bolt.
Yeah. The Bolt's pretty roomy, but anyway, yeah, that's the sour. Now on the sweet side, there's lots of sweet.
Well, the sweet, one of the main sweets is the price compared to this over the regular, the Plus over the regular. The regular one starts at about 42,000
Canadian, yeah.
Canadian,
and this one's
44,000. So it's not a lot more for a lot more range, a lot more power. Yeah, it's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah. So the price is definitely a sweet. I think that the added range and everything that you're getting now, this is the one to get. I think that now we're starting to get to the price / range / capability that more people will engage with this car. The previous one at 160 kilometers, not enough. 260, we're getting there. Now 360, that's more like it.
And the bonus, it's under the threshold for the pricing where it qualifies in Canada for a federal rebate of
$5,000.
$5,000, and depending what province you live in or state in the United States, you might have other rebates. Here in British Columbia, another $5,000.
Yeah, in the province of Quebec, it's $8,000.
Yes.
And if you scrap an old clunker, how much can you get?
I think it's another $600 or $6,500.
Okay, so in British Columbia where we live, $10,000 off the price. So I'd pick the $44,000 one. It's now $34,000. That's compelling.
Yeah.
All right, we're cooking electric for Sweet and Sour.